Deep in the Pacific, out where the light completely dies, hides a perfect biological machine that defies every rule of evolution. The opa, also known as the moonfish. When it breaks the surface, this thing looks completely alien compared to anything else on Earth, a massive, muscular disc glowing in deep crimson and metallic silver. But the real secret that makes it an oceanic marvel is the furnace hidden deep inside. Here's the thing. The opa is the only fully warm-blooded fish on the planet. Through a specialized web of blood vessels in its gills, it constantly heats its own blood. That keeps its core temp perfectly stable, even in near-freezing waters 1,500 feet down. This biological furnace turns what looks like a clumsy, oversized dinner plate into a terrifying, high-speed predator of the deep. We're heading over 50 miles offshore into the Pacific, riding with Captain Neon, a legend in the San Diego fishing scene. Today, he's not chasing tuna. He's leading his crew into a high-stakes gamble for a phantom that rarely hits the surface, the opa. The deep blue breaks. The whole deck instantly goes dead silent. Under the sun, an ocean titan appears, glowing in brilliant crimson and metallic silver. Standing on the deck, you haven't just reeled in a massive payday. You're staring face to face with a biological miracle, living proof that the ocean is still hiding some of nature's most perfect machines.
So let's see. And this is going to reduce, so you want to use more than you think you're going to actually eat. All right. And you could measure, which is actually our fish, our opa. And the first thing I'm going to do, people think they want a dark fish. You don't actually want your fish dark. And I drag the fork along it. It looks like they tried to get the scales off, and so I'm not going to use an awful lot of oil. You can see how the oil sort of dances on there when... All right.
With this kind of muscle structure, temperature is the fine line between a masterpiece and a disaster.
Put it in there, give it a little move around like that to keep it from sticking. Okay, now I'm going to turn the oil down a little bit. Just want to get a nice sear on that stove fan. I apologize, it's a little bit loud.
Searing these firm cuts in a hot pan. The natural fat melts, sizzling and coating the meat.
And just real quick, I just want to get a quick sear on it. And then I've got the oven at 350 degrees preheated. I'm going to get a quick sear, and I'm going to toss it into the oven for just a few minutes to let it cook in there.
That red ocean flesh transforms into a perfect steak with a flawless brown crust. The absolute peak of culinary processing.
Finished product. So this with sweet potatoes and a coconut.
The blue lingcod 29-inch specimen hits the cutting board. Bleeding it out is a mandatory step to lock in that freshness. Watch the dark blue fade into a stunning cyan. It's got microscales, so hitting it with a scaling tool strips it clean in seconds.
right along with the bones there. I just stay above the bones. Follow them.
Then the knife glides right against the bone, taking off the fillets but leaving the skin intact.
Kind of a small cheek, such a small fish.
Zero punctures to the belly cavity. You have to protect that pristine turquoise meat from any contamination. The bones are picked completely clean. Finally, the head. The blade slides in and pops out the cheek meat. 2 tiny pieces of muscle, but easily the richest, firmest, and sweetest bite on the whole fish.
Cheek.
Meanwhile, the Tex-Mex version completely tricks your brain into thinking it's a different species. The meat is incredibly sweet and spicy, perfectly balanced by the fresh corn. Eating this piping hot fish, grabbing a few wild blackberries picked right off the creek bank. This quick offshore trip wraps up with a primal feast, proving this ocean predator tastes way better than anyone could have ever imagined. They call it the sea devil. Hideous, a freak of nature, a living curse from the abyss. For decades, fishermen threw it back. They didn't realize they were tossing away a fortune. The North Atlantic, 3,000 feet down. Pressure 100 times greater than the surface. To find them, commercial farmers must drop their gear over 3,000 feet deep, straight into the crushing darkness of the North Atlantic.
You can see, pull that up here.
That's a small one.
Yeah.
Oh, another one. Oh.
Getting a little bit bigger of the one here.
Unlike most fish, the monkfish doesn't swim. It walks. It moves along the seabed using its pectoral fins as legs, surviving in an environment with pressure 100 times greater than the surface. This extreme habitat creates a muscle structure so dense it's nearly identical to lobster tail. That's why it's known as the poor man's lobster in premium markets. Starts with the skin, loose, slippery, tough as body armor. It has to be peeled in one fluid motion. Look closely. This is ankamo. The devil's liver, the blade has to move like a surgeon's scalpel. One wrong nick, the gallbladder bursts. $500, gone in a second. In the hands of an expert, there's no room for waste.
راه كتحبس فيها
شناهي؟
ملي كطول في لاكلاص شويه كتحبس فيها المراريه كتدخل فيها السكوريه.
The tail, no rib bones, just a solid cylinder of pure protein. Biological engineering meeting the edge of a master's blade. The final act, from monster to masterpiece, rich, buttery, elite. The tail meat hits a screaming hot pan. It doesn't flake like whitefish, it sears like a grade A steak, releasing a sweetness that only the deep-sea darkness can produce. If you respect the grit of the ocean's farmers, the cold precision of the steel, subscribe to Ocean Cuts. Because the monkfish is just the beginning. At 15,000 feet, black gold is waiting. The Bering Sea, the heart of the ocean. Down here, the target just isn't fish, it's black gold. 3,000 feet below the surface, temperatures below freezing. To survive this abyss, this creature had to mutate. It turned its body into a fat storage machine, record-breaking oil content, Alaskan black cod. Long-line structures glided and plunged deep into the dark depths. 1 hour, under tension, just to see the light. Look at this skin, jet black. It absorbs every ray of light.
Western Gulf pot fishing style, slinky bots. Oh, more than it. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy.
Chefs call it butterfish, meat so saturated with oil that the laws of physics don't even allow it to be overcooked. But there's a price, 15 seconds. That's the survival window, from the moment it hits the deck to the ice hold. 1 second too late, and a fortune turns into scrap. The Hawaiian Islands, 3,000 feet beneath the reef, where sunlight can't reach. Why does a creature living in total darkness wear the color of blood? The ruby snapper. In the 19th century, it was a treasure, one only royalty was permitted to taste. The royal fish. Hauling it up is a life-or-death gamble with pressure. Every inch of line pulls with tons of force. One bad twitch and the line snaps. The fish vanishes into the void and the fisherman loses everything. These eyes, they take up a third of the skull. They are designed to trap the very last photons of light on the planet. At the bottom, it is a perfect hunter. On the surface, it is as fragile as glass. One mistake with the pressure change, and the eyes will shatter. This brilliant red isn't for decoration. It's blood. It's pressure. It's a brutal legacy. The ocean hides its evolutionary mistakes, but sometimes they get dragged to the surface. The giant grenadier, the rat tail. In 1870, the HMS Challenger hauled up a creature that made biologists shiver. It doesn't look like it belongs to this world. Bulging blue eyes, a deformed skull, and the long, tapering tail of a Jurassic reptile. At that depth, its gas bladder is compressed tight. Pull it up too fast, the pressure drops. The monster will literally explode. Antarctica, latitudes where humans don't belong. Home to the most expensive ingredient in the ocean, the Patagonian toothfish. High society calls it Chilean sea bass, 6,000 feet under the ice floes. In super-cooled saltwater. Fishing here isn't a career, it's an expedition, 30-foot swells, hurricane-force winds.